Euthanasia can be defined as the anticipated death of an individual in order to avoid suffering from a terminal disease and/or a chronic illness. Over the last decade, euthanasia has been a hugely discussed topic worldwide. With great debate and no general consensus, it continues to be one of the hottest topics in the media today. But before you form an opinion and pick a side, how much do you really know about it? Euthanasia can be classified as passive or active and has many different forms. Today, we're going to focus on the meaning and the differences between non-voluntary, involuntary, and voluntary euthanasia. Non-voluntary euthanasia is a termination of a life that is decided by a surrogate decision maker and requires a physician's assistance. This decision maker is usually a family member of the person whose life is being terminated. Non-voluntary euthanasia only occurs when the patient is not in a state where they are capable of making a decision themselves. This is mostly known as a vegetative state. Involuntary euthanasia is where the termination of a life is done so against the will or without consent of a patient who is capable of relaying his or her decision. This is the most rejected form of euthanasia and is the only which is considered to be murder. Voluntary euthanasia happens at the request of the patient and is performed by a medical professional. This is the most supported form of euthanasia and is legal in several countries. Voluntary euthanasia is also commonly referred to as assisted suicide. The euthanasia debate is something that has been focused on for quite a while now, and is an argument that has two very opposing sides. Unfortunately, we aren't able to go through all points of each side today, but we have picked a few to share with you. There are three widely known arguments for euthanasia. There is the compassion argument, advocating that we need euthanasia to die in dignity. The autonomy argument, advocating that we want it, as every patient should have the right to choose when to die. The public policy argument, stating that euthanasia can be safely regulated by the government. These contrast arguments against euthanasia, which suggest we could never truly control or regulate the practice of euthanasia. There is no right to be killed, suggesting that the practice of voluntary euthanasia would lead to an increase in cases of non-voluntary and involuntary euthanasia. And saying that we do have alternative care, such as palliative care, that can relieve nearly all pain. With such opposing arguments and so much at stake, it is clear that this discussion is one worth having, with many more contributing factors than we were able to touch on today, such as religion, culture, and age. We suggest before you truly form your opinion, you find out as much as you possibly can. Now, to see where you stand, we've got a discussion question for you to read and have a think about.
Created using Powtoon.